Onye Afia, proudly brought to you by Qtix PLC, exclusive quality since 1982.
Welcome to another episode of Onye Afia here on AfiaTV. Today we're going to be talking about something very interesting, something that you all can relate to, because trust me, if you have planned a wedding or if you've planned a birthday party, then this conversation is definitely something that you are going to understand, right? We're talking about the event space here in southeastern Nigeria. In recent times, the advent of event planners have become a norm. People now plan their weddings and consider, I need to get an event planner. So this is an industry that is starting to boom. But amidst its boom, we've seen some technical challenges. But today what we're going to do is to have that conversation of what the event space in southeastern Nigeria is like. And to further this conversation with me, I have Dr. Ifeoma Okoye. Most of you would call her the queen of events in this part of the region. But most of you do not know that she is a diverse woman. Yes, she's a lawyer, she's a lecturer, she's a makeup artist, and most of all, she is the founder of STM Magical Creations. We'll be going on a short break, and when we come back, we will pick up the conversation. See you soon.
Onye Afia, proudly brought to you by Qtix PLC, exclusive quality since 1982.
Welcome back to Onye Afia here on AfiaTV. We are going to be picking up the conversation shortly with our guest. We are going to be discussing the event industry in southeastern Nigeria. Hello, Dr. Ife. How are you?
Hello, Odara. Thank you for having me here.
It's my pleasure. It's our pleasure to have you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I am flattered
Mm-hmm.
with the entire hype.
You have this Igbo woman sophistication. You know, that's
Really?
I am flattered.
Oh, Ifeoma.
Oh, Ifeoma.
Okay, so I was told.
Thank you for joining us today.
Thank
I
you
mean,
for
it's
having me.
really, really, really interesting to have you. First of all, before we, get into, I would like you to give us like a background into what the event space in southeastern Nigeria is like now, compared to years back that you started STM Magical Creations. Where is it? Where was it then and where is it now?
I would say that I am proud of where we are, the Southeast, with the event industry. It's grown a lot. It's moved from understanding what it is in the first place. People even realizing what they want and understanding, okay, we can actually do this and we can do this better. And appreciating the value and the talent that is booming and tapping into it. So it's actually grown. It's moved from having a regular person sewing clothes like a tailor. Now we also have amazing stylists in the Southeast. It's moved from people understanding what organizing their events is. It's not just the days back where we used to have an auntie or uncle just bring a bunch of people together. People now understand the value of hiring professionals to help them organize and, keep sentiments and emotions aside and, work with people that are actually credible. People understand that memories are now more important. People are understanding the value and what matters. And that at the end of the day, events are not just about eating and drinking and bringing people together. People now understand that it's about experience. And so the industry has become more pruned, more fine-tuned, more elaborate, and more cash-wise. It's been good.
More cash.
It's been
So
creative. Yeah.
Yeah, in comparison, would you say that an event planner, designer, organizer here would earn, something similar to what someone in Lagos would?
Well, in the aspect of that growth, I would say it's still a journey.
Okay.
No matter how we try to put it, yes, your value is your value, but at the same time, you look at the market and change begins with you, is what they say. It starts with every single one of us. No, we're not there yet. But we are almost there in terms of the way people now view it. Southeast is beginning to own their own. They are beginning to understand that, okay, value is value. And if this is what it takes to create this, then this is what it takes, and this is what it costs, and this is what production costs. We are in the journey of arriving, typically almost the same value-wise. So you would say an average event designer in Southwest can put the foot down and charge like a 40 million.
Service charge or?
Production and service, depending on the brief.
Okay.
And say, okay, our starting rate is 40 million for design, depending on where they are.
Sorry, I don't want to, cut you off when you're talking, but we need to be clear on this. So when you say production, because what do you mean?
Okay.
So what do we mean by production? Is it just for the service itself, or are we including?
So this is not the event professional that plans and coordinates. I'm talking about designer, somebody who we call the decorator. Right?
Okay.
So this is pretty much for adapting the concept that has been birthed by the organizers, by the planner, and then executing it, executing the mood board. So it is producing it and service charge. So whereas you can say that some companies will say starting price is 40 million Southwest. Here in the Southeast, it is still a journey. For you to say, okay, starting price will be 40 million, you have to prove a lot more to be able to. So that is the mentality that is in the journey of changing. So, it's like saying Ndibo, why do we have to struggle more? Why do we have to work so hard more to be able to prove a point? But then it takes, it's all the whole movement, even when you talk about the minority group, women, why a woman would have to prove 2 times before they get to a stage. So it's all in the journey. And I'd say it's the psyche. It's the psyche of the consumer. So mentally, they are very much normalize the fact that, okay, this is normal in the Southwest. This is not normal in the Southeast. Yeah. So it's going to take a little while to get there. So it's like double proving yourself, whereas someone here can just say, this is it and that's it, and it's accepted. But if you say it here, it's not accepted. You have to prove over and over why this is the starting price. So I think that's the part where it's far, the journey, but we're getting there. Service providers here can put their foot down and say, okay, this is my value and this is my worth. And the facts speak for themselves. That's what we say in law. So the value will speak, and the consumer and the clients will appreciate it and say, you know what? I think I'll go with.
So when in the course of proving yourself, what are you subjected to do, as a service provider in the wedding industry? Not just the wedding, but, the event space generally. What are you expected to do, or how can you prove your worth to someone? I mean, I know how that can be excruciating to have to prove your worth, but, what's the process of that like?
The process is excellence, to be honest. Once people see, it's like a see. Once they experience your goods, your service, and I mean, we're speaking in general, not just planning. We're speaking all spheres, every single project that makes up an event, from food and beverage to design to personnel to ambience, every single thing. To glamour and wardrobe, everything depends on the event, corporate, wedding, social, whatever it is. When you give excellence, when excellence is your operating SOP, that is how you operate, it shows. There's nothing people experience. They just need to experience it. And yes, the first time, the second time, you can put your foot down. And that is the proof. The proof is in the experience. You don't need to do too much. You just need to do what you say you do well. That's it. That's
So
it.
excellence is the way.
Yes.
Very interesting. There was one time that I think it was on Twitter also, someone was complaining about how people would come, they will be outside the East, would come to do events here, and then they would bring their vendors from Lagos, Abuja, and they wouldn't use the vendors here, right? And someone sort of countered the argument and is like, oh, it's because it's difficult to find vendors who can give you what you want. What do you have to say about that in general? Like, where are we skill wise?
I think skill wise, we're literally almost better. What we are not doing, what we are still struggling with is telling our story better, being visible better, and being more professional. That's it. But when it comes to the raw skill, I beat my chest and say we have the best talents, we have the best creatives that would go over and beyond. But I think we still need to fine tune our operations, the way we operate, customer service, visibility. Those I would say make the major difference with us and there. So is that still a journey? Yes, it's still a journey. And they are realizing, I know it's getting there. So that I would say is the major reason for them. I don't agree with saying they're not skilled enough. I don't agree with saying, oh, we can't get the type of talent we want or vendors that will give us this value. We have that in quantum. What we are still struggling with is operations. How to do business more professionally. That's what we're struggling with. How to put structures in place. That's what we're struggling with. How to be more visible and how to tell our story better. They have mastered the art in the West. And to be honest, sometimes you see, but then you go to experience and you're a little disappointed with the actual value. It might have beautiful coatings and toppings of professionalism, but then you go into the actual skill and it's a little short. So I think we have to find that balance. And I make bold to say we're getting there. I mean, these days you see them bringing vendors from the Southeast to Lagos. Yes, it happens all the time. We have a lot of planners that started here and they've transitioned and they are doing it better. And they are growing everywhere globally. And that shows that, and it is that can-do spirit. It is that wanting to overprove. It makes us do it 10 times better.
So it's something that I think we need to still preserve, even when we sort of hit the benchmark of acceptance.
There's no relaxing. There's no, okay, nobody's there. Trust me, nobody.
It's a work in progress.
It's a journey. It's a continuous work in progress. And unfortunately, or is it fortunately, I think it's a blessing and a curse. The fact that we have to prove and prove and prove, but at the same time, it keeps making us better. And it's a blessing in that way.
In that, guys. Interesting. We're going to be going on a short break, and when we come back, we will continue this conversation.
Onye Afia, proudly brought to you by Qtix PLC, exclusive quality since 1982.
Onye, welcome back. Thank you for staying with us up until this point. Anyị kanona Onye Afia here on AfiaTV. My name is Odera Collins, and remember we're discussing the event industry here in southeastern Nigeria, and I still have Dr. Ife here in the studio with me. You know, in the first part of the conversation, we talked mostly, generally about the event space, right? And if we're going to count the success of the event industry in southeastern Nigeria, I know we're, liking it to the wedding, the birthday, the mostly family-inspired events. Social events, exactly. But now let's take it to the corporate space, right? That's also another industry on its own. And you see a lot of people come out to plan events in the fashion space, in the food space, in the photography, arts. But some people would argue that it doesn't pull the same weight as it should, that there's a lot of potential lying to waste. What is your opinion in that, tilting towards this? Like, what's your opinion on that?
Well, unfortunately, I would agree. Quite unlike social events where we have become our own and literally there. Corporate is struggling. Yeah, corporate is struggling because you see, it's the same mindset thing of the creative, the vendors. Southeast, our DNA is about making money. It's the money, it's the cash. Whereas there is reward for being creative and upping your value because you know that you're seeing the results. People are seeing excellence, they're seeing the experience, so you're getting more inquiries, they're patronizing you, it's translating to sales, to cash. But you see, corporate events, the reward is not instant. That's just the reality. The reward is not instant. It is an event that is usually done where the objective is not exactly entertainment or that value. And so for the hosts, right, when they gather vendors, the vendors are the ones that get the reward instant. Yes, okay, you're paying us for our value. But we're discussing this topic in the context of the organizers, the hosts, when they organize in the Southeast. Now, because this reward is not instant, because a lot of times the objective is education, even though it's marketing and sales is not instant, they don't put their all. They lose focus of, would I say, imputing what it takes to make those events have weight. And that is a lot of investment. When I talk about investment, you have to invest in target visibility. You have to invest in target network. You have to invest in target ambience. You have to, and unfortunately, those investments might even outweigh the value you get on instant. That is not the Southeast mentality. They want to make their money instantly. And so they water down everything. They water down the type of exposure they need. They just want to make those sales. You see in some of the food events or fashion or they are not targeting the right partners or doing what it takes to get those partners. They are not looking at fine-tuning it in such a way that the packaging is right. It's all about packaging. They are more about, okay, let's gather the participants, the vendors, the ticket sales, the days, let's just move and make the money and move. That's where we get it wrong. Whereas in the West, they understand these things. And so they understand that I have to sacrifice a lot. I may not make anything from this event, but it has to be loud. It has to look the way it should so that it can attract what I want it to attract. I have to sacrifice what I need to sacrifice to partner with the right brand to get the exposure I want to target the right audience I want to see this. They understand all those strategies. They hire professionals to let them do it better. Here in the Southeast, you find a handful willing to even hire strategists for that event or hire the right team. So I agree, unfortunately, when it comes to that corporate level, we have a long, long way to go. It's not being beamed the way it should because it's not really fine-tuned.
How can we remedy it? Like, how can we start taking steps towards remedying that?
Honestly, it's sad. It's sad because it's not like these events are not quality. The ideas behind it are amazing. It's quality, but patience is a problem. Patience to sell. How can we remedy it? We really have to train. We really have to encourage these organizers, these hosts, to even understand that it's not just for you people. You're doing this for the Southeast. You're doing this to promote the Southeast. You're doing this to repackage the Southeast. And so your target should be making this thing more packaged. And not just that, targeting the right partner for your visibility, because you can partner with the wrong company or brand for visibility, and then they begin to view that event in a certain way. So that intentionality is something that should be taken serious, and also be willing to invest in it. Be willing to hire people to even train your team. Some people do these events, they don't even have a team. So you're to train your team or to be part of it, so that it would come out better. I would give you an example. We do these events a lot, and we did have food and fashion fair, and I would say that it is growing better. Why? Because I see intentionality in strategizing better partnerships that would give the right translation. So they don't take it like, it's just all this come and drink. It's not telling this. So it still boils down to investing to tell the story right. And investing in the aesthetics. That's just it. Investing to tell the story right. And there's a lot of good TEDx Enugu. I applaud them. I somehow have insight into what they're doing, and there's growth and there's intentionality. So we have events that they are beginning to understand that, okay, this is not just for us, or let me make money. Let me just host an event to make, it's you're doing this for us, all of us, to make the Southeast better, to be more packaged. So training, refocusing, patience. Yes, training, refocusing, patience. Unfortunately, I won't say capital. That's not what is needed now. And patience still comes from coming back when you're better ready, and being willing to invest. Yeah, so you can do it better.
Let's take it out of the classroom, because that's what I believe we're doing now. Let's take it out of the classroom and practicalize it a little bit. Can you give us maybe a hypothetical case study of how, because I know that with everything you said, of course there is work to be done, but it also doesn't take away the fact that most of these people who organize these events also have hopes for it to be the way you have described. So how do they, you've talked about patience, you've talked about packaging, you've talked about refocusing and a few other things. How do they go about it practically? We could use packaging as a case, as a point. So how do they do that?
So first of all, you see this cash thing. Some will say, there's no money. We're trying to get sponsorship, partnerships, so that we can have the right exposure and make it look better. But at the same time, they are making this event even bigger than they can handle. Because probably if it's an exhibition-based event, they want more people because they want the cash. They like the money that comes with it. I mean, they can do a lot more. But let's be practical. I believe in excellence, right? You can also do it smaller. Okay, so instead, if it's an exhibition-based event that the objective is sales or marketing, can I, instead of having 100 vendors, right? And then it will make me want to set up a larger space. I may not even have enough money to do it up the way I want it. Can I not just have maybe 20 and let the setup be perfect? Let me sit back and create a story, right? And make this thing 30. First of all, everybody likes something nice. If you make it smaller, invest in the excellence of the ambience, create an experience, tell a story, even write down I know that we do proposals and we put out things, it's larger, it's do. You can even do a mock-up of what you plan to do. Do a photo shoot of what you plan to do. Create the branding that excites you of what you plan to do. and find the right connect and network to sell, like pitch it. You may not have done it. You may find that the ones you did in the past is just kainaga. But you want to do this better. I will advise realistically, cut down, make it more quality. Find the most perfect partner for you, no matter how difficult it is. But keep at it. If it takes you for that your event, that the key person you need is the founder or the person that does Omniverse or something, it's a tech thing, or if it's a food thing, you want to get GT Bank, or if it's you want Bella Niger, you want. It depends on what your objective is, but work hard on it. Get that one key partner that will make a difference. Do it small and see how you will grow better. It will surely make a huge difference. It will surely make a huge difference. Because I don't want to call it greed, but it's still that let's make profits thing.
I think it's our ambitious.
It's the Igbo part. Like, we have to make money. Like, I mean, you're not talking money, you're talking nonsense. Yeah. Then also, when I say exposure, they're very important. You see people doing this kind of, you're doing a corporate event. You don't even know the people in your industry. You don't even know what is happening now. How do you meet these people? Personal development is even the main thing. You want to do this event. How many have you attended externally? How many key industry people in that industry of your corporate have you networked with? Have you gone to these events outside Southeast and see how they do it? Have you tried to connect with the stakeholders? Have you put yourself out there? Have you sold what you do? Have you even traveled out to see how they do it internationally? That's also another thing. Because we don't want to spend too much money, we're making money. It still boils down to that. It's very difficult for the average Southeast person to develop themselves, to invest in themselves. I think it comes from that hustle thing. Let's just make it. Let me strive. It's difficult to say, okay, I need to pause and invest in myself and invest in this brand and learn more. It's money, spend it. If you have to travel and see how the other people doing this thing are doing it, go and see how they are doing it. Talk to them. Break in. How do you get this exposure? Were you able to get this brand to do this? That's where you learn the secrets. That's where you learn, okay, this is what it takes, or this is why, why it's working out for me, or what I've been doing. It's not just by sitting down there and doing the same thing. I know there are people who are trying. They are putting their all. They are doing everything in the books. Just be consistent. Don't be discouraged. It will surely pay off. But you see exposure, you see patience, you see doing it right. I've given practical examples of really, some of these people are just doing this. Put it out. No questions asked. Let's just keep producing. We made this 1 million this year. We now made 2 million next year. That is success for them. But we don't remember it.
So it's more like we need to redefine, our overall concept of success, because it's not just about us.
It's not, and it's not. Yes, it translates to Naira and Kobo, but success does not necessarily mean, it's not actually just about Naira and Kobo. It's about impact.
So for starters, before they start to go out internationally, because
nationally,
exactly. Internationally, we're going to fly to go.
No, I'm even talking about the Pugene Southeast. Just go. If you're doing a food fair, a Pugo Southeast Jeffu can do also see a food fair. Have you even asked yourself, who is the greatest fair organizer in this Nigeria? I need to meet that person. I need to see what they do, how they do it. Let me also understand how this thing works. There are even conferences about this. Manimaro, they are there. Let's just be doing the same thing.
Now let's talk about the conferences, because Amamna, most of them, before I go on Kajioko. Amamno Foduni Mefa Maramaka these conferences. And I know that I've seen you attend, conferences, social events for event organizers. I know that there is even a committee, sort of a trade union for event planners in Nigeria, right?
Yeah, there are organizations.
Organizations, exactly. So there are there are groups for this. So how can one be a member? Kedu kan gesi banye? What's the requirements to join, and what's that process like?
I think every sector has their own. Events is broad. Events is broad. There's music. There's this. Every sector has their own. But then there's the general event practitioners organization. There's the one for Southeast. It's called ILPANS. They do conferences every year. It's been there for a while now. I think 3 years. There's the national one called APOEM. It's been there way longer. These things help. They connect you. They do internal conferences that bring these vendors network together, different activities, educational, social, both the UPANs, both the APOEM. So I would encourage event professionals to connect even with your sector. If you're in the music space, connect with music people, then connect with the general one about event organizers. Both if you're in the Southeast, there's UPANs. Even if you want to do UPANs and APOEM, you can, and states have their own. There's Enugu, there's Abuja, there's...
How do you join?
It's how you join there. You ask. First of all, you find out. If you're in Enugu State, you can ask me if you're in Anambra State, if you're in, but then the Southeast one called UPANS, you just ask. We have a lot of members and put it out there and you join. They have a conference coming up. And I would always advise to learn more as you're joining Southeast, also join national. So that as you're learning here, networking here, you're also networking on the national level, and you're also exporting, what you're learning. And so importing is just like a symbiotic thing, Yeah. And it helps you when there are issues, when you're in an organization, you know what's happening educationally, globally, or you even get work referrals. Yeah. So I know they want to hear that.
So you see, we're giving you tips. What's your hope for the Southeastern event industry in years to come?
My hope is that we take over the world, which we are doing. Honestly, we're doing it gracefully. So what I want to see more is for us to be appreciated, not just for our work, our craft, but also to be appreciated in such a way that people view us as very professional in the way we do business, because that is where we're still struggling. Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for sticking out with us up until this point of the show. I'm sure you had a very insightful and interesting experience. I learned a few things too, and I hope you did. But unfortunately, we have come to the end of today's episode. Until next time when I come your way again, it's bye for now. Keep watching AfiaTV. My name is Odera Collins. Ogade.
Onye Afia, proudly brought to you by Qtix PLC, exclusive quality since 1982.